We live our lives overstimulated and stuck in a perpetual hunger for getting more done. Everyone is too busy or feels like they aren't busy enough, but instead of this hyper-productive society leading to greater prosperity, it leaves us strung out and with greater anxiety. You'd figure that modern technology would actually enable more freedom and less stress, but it seems to have done the opposite. And we try and solve this by using productivity hacks, and we download these to-do list apps that help us with our time management. And in the short term, those do help us get more done. But the problem is, once we do have some more free time from being more efficient, we end up just filling that with more work and more productivity. And the problem that this creates is productivity, instead of being the means to an end of free time, productivity becomes the means and the end. We are being productive just to become more productive, and this loop and cycle continues forever. Now, I'm not anti-productivity, and I'm not going to disgrace all the great productivity hacks that exist out there, but I am going to say that productivity is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to getting more control over your life. Now, the solution isn't in reading more self-help books or in applying more of these productivity tips. The solution relies on being proactive rather than reactive. So you don't want to just continue to respond to different tasks and to-dos and just cram those into your schedule until it's absolutely overflowing and you're overstressed and overstimulated. What you want to do is proactively structure your day around your peak energy period so you can optimize your time and be the best version of yourself. Here's what I mean. First, we need to understand our peak energy periods for specific activities. Now, this is a term from Josh Waitzkin, and it describes these certain periods of the day where we are most optimized to perform a specific task to the best of our ability. When do we work our best? When do we think our best? When are we most creative? When do we interact with our family best? All of these different activities we do best at certain periods of the day, and it's different from person to person. A lot of this we can figure out quite intuitively, but you can also figure it out just through some quick trial and error. And by identifying these periods of the day, we can avoid the mistake that a lot of people make, which is trying to just fit these activities randomly into their day, just trying to cram it in. And what happens is either A, it doesn't get done, or B, it doesn't get done well. It's ineffectively done. Instead, we need to assess ourselves and understand at what times of the day do we perform certain tasks best. I mean, imagine trying to come up with a creative idea on a rushed, short 30-minute lunch break, or trying to do mentally demanding work really late at night when you're already fatigued from the day. It's just not going to work well. So in practice, structuring your day around these peak energy periods would look something like this. First, you block off your mornings for knowledge and creativity. Examples would be starting your day reading or writing down your ideas, but staying away from any formal work, news, or distractions. Second, you section off the middle of your day to complete any work, tasks, or to-dos that need to get done. This is where you centralize a lot of your stress and any work-related obligations. Third, you'd set up your evenings for relaxation, socializing, and achieving the downregulation that your body and mind needs. More on this a bit later. Blocking off time early in your day for thinking, writing, learning, or whatever creative outlet makes a lot of sense because most people are naturally most energized and most clear-minded early in the day. Writer Ernest Hemingway once spoke about this concept in an interview where he stated, "When I am working on a book or a story, I write every morning as soon after first light as possible. There is no one to disturb you and it is cool or cold, and you come to your work and warm as you write." I personally have designated early mornings for reading, and it's because later in the day, I'm simply just too distracted from all the stress and work I had to do early in the day, and I can't actually focus on what I'm reading. In the mornings, though, I can be a lot more attentive and absorb the book. Now, in contrast, in the evenings, I almost feel useless after 4 or 5 p.m. As the sun starts to set and later in the day, my energy is just drained and I can't do work and be very efficient with what I need to get done. So what I've realized is my peak energy period is basically from that 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. where I can be most efficient with my work. Now, even within that period though, I do try and take breaks every 90 to 120 minutes. And Dr. Andrew Huberman has a great podcast on the topic of focus and why we can't stay in that heightened state for more than 1 to 2 hours. So I'll make sure I link that in the description below. By structuring our day this way, we're not just scheduling to-dos and arbitrarily fitting them into our schedule. It's a process of self-assessment where we're analyzing when we are at our best at a given task and then creating a schedule that facilitates that. By organizing certain tasks by when they are most effectively performed, you can not only ensure you get them done, but achieve better results by doing them at the most optimized time. Now please keep in mind you must assess your own peak energy periods and obligations. So if you have a job that gets you up at 5 a.m., you may need to get up even earlier at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. for that creative block of your day. Or you might be a night owl and you need to shift that later in the day, have more time at night for writing or thinking or whatever it is. You need to assess your current goals when you are at your best. And that's going to be different from person to person. So my specific peak energy periods and schedule probably will not work for you, but the underlying system and method upon how I structure my day most likely will. Now, to round out this system, we can't skip downtime and force ourselves to maintain this heightened level of focus and stress all day long. That's actually the trap that productivity culture walks you down, is trying to maintain this work mode all day long, which is just impossible. You can't possibly maintain a high level of focus and concentration for more than a few hours, let alone from dusk till dawn. You can only be your absolute best for a short period of time, and then you need to give your mind time to recover. It's just like a muscle. You can't constantly work the same muscle in the gym day after day after day. You need to give it time to rebuild, to recover, and recuperate so that it can be its best and perform at its best the next workout. And it's important to understand that all external stimuli add stress to the mind. So even when you think you're relaxing while scrolling on Instagram or watching Netflix, your mind is still taking in these constant inputs and it's getting further overloaded. In order to downregulate, decompress, and truly let go, we need to get away from the screens and get away from thinking about any work-related obligations. This form of release could look like going for a walk, training at the gym, sharing dinner with family. Whatever it is, the goal of this is to get your conscious mind off work, off your to-dos, off all these things that are adding to your stress and anxiety. It's this undulation of intense bouts of work followed by bouts of relaxation that allow us to find balance and then maximize the flow state once we're in it. Josh Waitzkin describes this as the Simmering Six, and it's the idea that instead of trying to maintain a level 6 all day long where you're barely keeping your head above water, you actually want to allow yourself to have bouts of the day where you are at a level 1 or 2 or 3. And this enables us to reach a level 10 when we need to do our most efficient, most demanding work. Daniel Pink shares a similar concept within his book titled When. For Daniel, our day goes through a 3-part cycle of a peak, a trough, and a recovery period. He believes most people are in their highest mood and most energized state earlier in the day, which leads them into their peak. Then, after reaching the summit of their productivity and efficiency for the day, they start to descend into a trough. This is that afternoon slump most of us fall into near the end of the workday. Lastly, this is followed by a recovery period in the evening that helps us rebound and find homeostasis. All in all, it's not too different from the peak energy periods we discussed earlier. To wrap all of this up, whether you work from home or whether you work a strict 9 to 5 or work part-time jobs or have family obligations, we can all in some way, shape, or form self-audit how we structure our day and find ways to maximize our output without adding more to our day. So this isn't a productivity hack where you need to add more things to your life. Really, it's just an idea of restructuring your day to optimize your time and ability and possibly even letting some things go. So instead of trying to disperse stress and work across your entire day, you want to confine it to that one period of the day where you can be your most efficient and do your best work. That way, you can actually have more control of your life and get more time back throughout the other parts of your day. In short, you really want to understand when you think your best, when you learn your best, and when you work your best. And also, it's crucial to not ignore the time that we need to downregulate and decompress from all the stress and stimuli from the day. Well, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you got something out of it and you can start to already think about how you might be able to manipulate or alter your schedule to be at your absolute best. If you have any thoughts or questions or ideas, please comment down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.